Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. Yesterday I went shopping. Doesn't happen very often because we live in a tiny town and the closest big city, I guess, to us is about 40 to 45 minutes away. A few weeks ago I received a text message from somebody that provides me with offcuts and sample fabrics and things. Because it's so far away, I can't just drop everything and go over there. You've got to go shopping as well, right? So that's what we did. Chris's mum and I went out for the day and ran some errands, and I picked up a heap of fabric. Mind you, I actually left a whole heap as well for somebody else to hopefully collect. Let me show you what I've got. Whilst I show you this fabric, I'm going to share with you how to go about finding your own fabric. There's lots of places to go where you can source free sample fabrics, and I'll let you know how I go about getting it as well. So let's start with the first bag. I have this bag. It's only half full as well. I just felt like I should stop grabbing fabric. And I only did that because the guy told me that there was another lady that was interested. And I thought, yeah, that's okay. I'll take the good stuff and somebody else can have something else. All right, let's empty this. So this bag has lots of offcuts, remnants. The person that I got this from, he's an upholsterer and restores furniture. Whatever's not used in his pieces, he just keeps them in a corner for me and lets me know once or twice a year that he's got some fabric for me to pick up. And a lot of them are sample boards as well. I'll show you those in a minute. But I did grab a few of these because these ones will make fantastic boxy bags. Even these ones here. They might only be small, but they do make really nice little zippered pouches. You might remember the Tapestry bags that I made some time back. I made about 30 to 40 of them. Those have been selling well for me, so they're always a good fabric to have. When I picked up this fabric, I actually gave the guy a gift of one of my DOP style utility bags, and it was in a fabric very similar to this. This looks like he's made some armrests. Fabric started finding me quite by accident when I decided to no longer sell dress material and quilting fabric, and a local guy started giving me really tiny offcuts, and they were actually smaller than this, and I would make really tiny zippered bags and sell them for about $10 each. We got talking after a while and I said I'd love to find some bigger pieces, and so then he started giving me lots of bigger pieces, and eventually I ended up getting 2 truckloads from this company. That was a few years ago and I'm still going through that fabric. So these are all upholstery fabrics. I very rarely get sample fabric that is quilting cotton. I used to get it when I was buying quilting fabric, but the reps generally share that out amongst all the stores. Even the plain fabric is very useful. There's lots of people that buy very plain looking zippered bags. After I started getting the fabric locally, this is gorgeous. This is like a velour that you can actually touch. Really nice fabric. Anyway, after I started getting that fabric locally, I thought I should look around and see if there are other avenues of sourcing this fabric, because I'm not the only person that sews, and my YouTube channel started going really well, and I thought everybody else in the world should be able to get this fabric as well, not just myself. So I looked around, I did a little bit of research for fabric companies, just small family-run businesses that restore old furniture. There are your furniture stores themselves. So in Australia, we've got Harvey Norman, Amart, Envisage. There are lots of furniture places that you can go to, and wherever you see somewhere that sells couches, lounge suites, armchairs, anything that's made of fabric, they generally have samples like this. So you'll often see those draped over armchairs in and around the stores. With all fabric, it's seasonal. They don't keep it forever. So a lot of the time, the companies will just throw it out in their skips when the new ranges come in. I do love this one. I've had these fabric pieces before. I really like the bold colours, and on the back of the sample boards you usually get 1, sometimes 2 larger pieces of fabric, so I'll show you how the pattern looks And then you get all of those small pieces as well. I know that people are wanting to know how to get the paper off the back. I do struggle with some of them, and I have done some videos on how to get the fabric or how to get the paper off. The best method I've had so far for removing paper from the fabric is using my heat press. So the hotter the iron, the better. I do have one other technique that I'm thinking about. I haven't tried it yet, but I'll see how that goes and I'll let you know. Some more places that you can find sample fabric is at curtain manufacturing stores. Now, I was talking to the guy that I got this fabric from yesterday, and this is something I didn't know. Quite often when I'm sharing these fabric pieces, and no matter which country you're in, I'm told that you're often charged for these boards. What I did discover, and I don't know how this works around the world, but in Australia, if you go to a curtain shop like Dollar Curtains or whoever else might make curtains, they actually have to buy their sample pieces. So I don't think that you're going to have any luck finding these sample books for free. They may charge you a small amount, but I think that's fair enough because they actually have to buy them. Whereas upholsterers, people that recover furniture, they don't have to pay for these sample boards. They're given them by the reps when the seasons change or when the fabric is no longer available. They're told to throw all of these out. They just go straight in the skip. These are really nice prints, aren't they? Here I am waffling on and not showing you what I've got. Just gorgeous. I'm really looking forward to working with these. And on the back we've got some nice reds and greys. And in the middle of that, we've got a really nice big piece of fabric to show off the actual print style. They make great shopping totes. So unfortunately, there are places that you will go to that you have to pay for these sample boards. Other places that you can try in Australia, I can't suggest anywhere else in the world, but I can give you some ideas. In Australia, you can go to Spotlight. If you go to any stores that have furnishing, even fabric stores like Spotlight, they will often have these sample pieces. So Spotlight clear out theirs every few months, just like they do with patterns. But with patterns, they're not allowed to give them away. And I remember I wasn't allowed to either when I used to sell dress patterns. This is a really nice, it's very thick, but it's like almost like a boucle, I guess. But it's a really nice thick fabric. That'll make some really nice box bags, just some small ones. But people do love those. I sell more zippered bags than I do boxed bags, so they may become that. Lots of plain fabric pieces. I never used to enjoy getting those, but these are actually really useful, especially if you get something that's got lots of nice prints in them. You can tone it down with this, and it just makes it a really easy way to get rid of some of these fabric pieces. Once again, people love plain colours too. If you have an embroidery machine, or you do vinyl printing or lettering, you can actually put designs on this kind of fabric too. So some more nice fabric pieces. There's loads of colours, and they're all good sizes too. With pieces like this, they're usually about 7 inches wide by about 8 inches long. By the time you get the paper off and clean it all up, you get some good usable pieces off there. This is almost like a corduroy, like those soft boxy bags that I made some time back. The pieces aren't as big and it's not as fluffy, but the texture of these is really nice for bags too. I'm kind of showing you the most boring ones, I think, at the moment. Lots of plain colours here. I've got a few really nice prints. And as I mentioned, there was a lady that had come in to see this guy and asked for fabric, and he says, no, Christine gets first pick of all my fabric pieces, so once she's been through it, you can come back and pick it up. So I'm really pleased about that. I only took about half of the fabric and left the other person. Hopefully she'll come back and pick it up, but left her quite a lot of fabric to choose from. These look like velour or suede, quite nice to look at. Not so great to hold, but they're okay. They're okay. I'm just a bit precious. They're actually quite nice. These are nice. I do like the texture of these prints, these fabric pieces here. I have no idea what the fabric composition is, but they're just really nice. I love working with upholstery fabric. There were also a few quilted pieces in there this time as well, and I've never grabbed, or I've never seen them before. This time around I thought I'd grab them. All it is some polyester wadding on the inside, and the fabric has already been quilted, so I imagine this is the base of pieces of furniture, but I think that this would actually be really nice inside some bags. I'm sure it'll be handy one day. You've seen me get these kinds of books before. I absolutely love them. They've always got great fabric samples in there. These ones here, there's a few different sizes, but the great thing about these is that they generally go together, so they'll have stories. So all of these fabric pieces will complement each other, and I can put those together to make any number of bags. And then you go on to the next colourway and you'll do the same thing. So these are great because you don't have to think about how colours will go together. I do find these ones are a bit hard to get the paper off. We've got some nice textured fabric pieces here. I've had quite a lot from this company before. I still do too. You've seen those in my tapestry bags. I had to get that because they did so well for me that I thought there is still lots of people that love that kind of fabric. To me, it's a little bit dated. Reminds me of fabric that was around in my ex-mother-in-law's house back in the 80s. But yeah, some people still love it. These ones are really nice. Look at that. They're really nice pieces too. Quite often samples are 7 or 8 inches. These ones are much bigger, and they're actually double the length as well. So I'm going to get some really good stock out of this. And even on the back, there are some really nice long length pieces of fabric that I can work with. You should see the mess on the floor. And a couple more here. I think I've saved the best till last, not these two. There's a couple more there. I do find these ones difficult to remove the fabric from the backing, but thankfully there's only a small section of it glued to the back. Okay, the last few cards, I saved these ones to the end because I was really excited about these. This one is just a really nice range of prints. I do like these mustard colours as well. And the ones that caught my eye as soon as I went in there was this combination of vinyl and upholstery. So I've got several plain vinyl pieces in there. We've got the narrow strips, then we've got the wider pieces, so they're going to be really useful. They have general upholstery fabric that will actually complement the colours that are in there as well. So once again, I will be able to make a bag, say using this piece of fabric and using these two vinyls or these vinyls underneath, and make something really cute with that. So there are lots of pieces in there that I can use up and just mindlessly put them all together again. And this one here is just vinyls. I can never have enough vinyls. I do love working with it. I've made lots of little card holders, some toiletry bags, and lots of other products as well. I think that's all the fabric that I've got. Now that I've finished showing you all the fabric, I can actually talk. After I had received the massive 2 truckloads, I decided to start doing a little bit of research to try and find out where I could get fabric from and where other people could get fabric from. I researched my local areas. I just did a Google search for fabric stores, for upholsterers, and anybody else that I thought might sell fabric. And as I've mentioned, the curtain stores, they're not a place that I'm going to get fabric from. In fact, there's a local place who actually sells it as well, so I don't get anything from there. I did find somebody that's only about 40 minutes away, and that's where I've received these pieces from. I found him online. I decided when I went shopping that I was going to go see him and have a talk to him and tell him what I do, that I like to rescue fabric. I make products with it. I don't ever charge for the fabric that I receive for nothing, but I make lots of really nice products. So we had a good chat. I gave him my card and he said, no worries, I'll let you know when I've got something. And I thought, yeah, I won't hear from you again. And I didn't for a long time. It was probably about, maybe 3 to 6 months later, he sends me a text and says, I've got some fabric for you. And I was really excited about that. So I did go over there as soon as I could, picked up the fabric, and I got a ton of it. And you did see that in a video, probably 2 years or so ago. When I first found this guy, I was way too scared to approach anybody about fabric. I'd never done it before. So I went to see this guy, and I was really scared. So I parked out the front of his shop and looked at the door and I thought, no, I can't do this. I was just way too scared. So I drove off. Sometime later, I was back in town and I thought, all right, I'm going to pluck up the courage and go in there this time. Once again, I failed. I got scared and I was just, I think we all have this fear of rejection. I know I do. So I was way too scared to go in there and ask. So the second time around, I just drove off and didn't do it. Then sometime later, I went back again, probably a couple of months later. I parked out the front and I thought, I've really got to go this time. So I had a little discussion with myself, you know, Christine, it's okay, you can do this, you can go in there. If the guy doesn't like you, if they don't want to deal with you, they're not going to remember you. So I had this little discussion with myself, gave myself a pep talk, and I thought, right, I'm going in. And yeah, I had a really good chat to the guy, gave him my number. He told me that he used to have somebody that picked up the fabrics. So I thought, all right, well, I'm not unlikely to get anything. But he did say he'd call me or let me know if he ever had any fabric for me. So I left it at that and really didn't expect to hear from him either. But then a few months later, I did get a text from him. He's told me that he had a little bit of fabric in the corner and I was welcome to it. So of course I made a special trip over there and picked up the fabric, and there was so much of it. I couldn't believe it. Just so exciting. I'm still actually going through some of it as well, because every time I get something new, I've got to use that before I go and use the old stuff. So as a result of finding one source for fabric, I now have a person contacting me maybe 2 or 3 times a year, and he sends me a text, says, I've got fabric, come and pick it up when you're ready. And he's fine if I don't come in for a month or two. He just loads up the corner and I just come in and grab whatever I want whenever I like. So that is really nice to have that steady supply of upholstery fabric whenever I can get over there. So for those that are a little bit afraid like I was, and I might tell you that I have no shame now. I will ask for any bit of free fabric. I will suggest it to people, and I'm just ridiculously embarrassing. But at least the fabric's not going into landfill. Not while I'm alive and still sewing anyway. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into how to go about getting some free fabric. Just pluck up the courage and ask. Don't be afraid if you get rejected, because the people, if they do want to reject you, they're not going to remember you. So you've not lost anything. You just a few minutes of maybe being a little bit embarrassed because somebody said no, but most of the time you're probably going to be lucky and have somebody call you in a few months' time to tell you that they've got free fabric. I do get lots of emails from people telling me how they've gone with their free fabric search, and it's just so wonderful hearing that when people send me emails, because they haven't had the courage to do that either. It's just started this whole thing with the hunt for free fabric. Absolutely love it. Anyway, I should shut up. I've talked way too much. I get so excited when I get fabric that I have to share it with the world. You guys have to suffer for it. There you go. I'll leave you with that lot of vinyl. I just realised it opened up. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's given you some ideas as to where to get some fabric. I do have lots of other videos explaining how to get the fabric and also how to get the paper off the back. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm off to go and caress some fabric and come up with some ideas, and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.